Hey guys, how's it going? I'm currently driving back up north from Florida. Last night I intercepted Hurricane Helene in the Florida Panhandle, Big Bend region, and that was my first major hurricane that I've ever experienced, and it was an experience that I'll probably never forget, honestly. A couple of wild moments for me during the chase. I thankfully was very prepared, and just a couple hairy situations here and there that I'll discuss in a more produced video that'll go up on the main channel, obviously. But I just kind of wanted to talk about hurricane chasing a little bit, and particularly this chase with Helene. My prior tropical storm / tropical system chasing experience was rather limited. I've chased a handful of tropical storms and one Category 1 hurricane before, so I don't have an abundance of hurricane chasing, especially major hurricane chasing where storm surge is a very major concern. So fortunately I consulted a bunch of people, those being the two main ones being Gabe Cox, who has done fantastic work when it comes to documenting hurricanes. You know, his work is on Earthstorm, and another one's Max Olson, who, also has got some great, fantastic hurricane captures over the years. So very experienced guys that know what they're talking about, and fortunately, I felt as though that I was really prepared for what was going to happen. Nonetheless, though, it was to be expected in some sense, but it's hard to really expect the unexpected, I guess, in terms of, just with hurricane chasing versus traditional storm chasing. What I've come to find now is that what you have in your control is so much less in hurricane chasing than traditional storm chasing with like supercells and tornadoes, for example. And that's not something that I am used to. I like having a sense of control, and when you're in the eye wall of a Category 4 hurricane, the sense of control that you have is almost non-existent. You can kind of position yourself safely, you can find safe areas to be, but none of those are a guarantee, and it just is a whole different experience that I personally am not used to. And doing this solo was definitely probably a bit more than I could chew for my own personal comfort. Like I said, I felt that I was very prepared, but from just probably from a smarter standpoint, I think I would like to have done it with someone else in the vehicle with me. Like, I was kind of adjacent with a few people here and there, so like it wasn't like I was completely by myself a lot of the time. Nonetheless, though, still a completely nerve-wracking experience at points, and that'll be highlighted in the upcoming video, which should be out in a couple days. So I think moving forward, I'm going to, if I decide to chase another major hurricane again, whenever that may be, and whenever the opportunity presents itself, it'll be with other people and people that are experienced, just because that's, something that I think is beneficial to everyone involved. Kind of the other thing I wanted to talk about too was, obviously these storms are extremely impactful, and Helene will go down as one of the top worst hurricanes in U.S. history, especially with its inland impacts. Some of the flash flooding that's been seen is downright horrific. The surge was unprecedented in parts, and the swath of impact is very wide comparative to other hurricanes. So the thing that I wanted to kind of touch on was kind of milling about throughout most of the day. It was kind of amazing to me how there were a lot of places that were very prepared, But then there were places that didn't feel very prepared. Fortunately, for like I started off in Tallahassee, for example, and it didn't feel like anything was completely out of the ordinary. A lot of stuff was open that morning, in terms of like restaurants and stuff like that. Eventually stuff started shutting down, which I guess makes sense. But when I ventured down to the coast before the surge came in, a lot of people had evacuated, I will give them that, but there was like pockets of, houses here and there where it was clear that people hadn't evacuated in dangerous, surge-prone areas. And never in my life had I felt a sense of like hopelessness for these people, or just like, I don't know if that's the right word even to use or the right emotion to describe, but it was like I knew that these people had made the conscious, the GPS, I knew these people had made the conscious decision to not evacuate. And some of these houses were not on stilts, and it was just like, and then I've, come to see some of the, damage footage this morning, some of the same areas that I was driving through previously, and it's just like, with some of the fatalities numbers that are coming out from places, it's like, did I see potentially, the last hours of someone's life? I don't know. And it's an emotion that I've never really had to experience before. So, I don't think I'm like, I would say traumatized from it, but it was definitely an extremely eye-opening experience and really kind of hit the emotions home of just how impactful these storms are. And that, even though I'm there, humans are just powerless in a sense. We can do so much to prepare. And I think, and there's so much we can do in terms of messaging and stuff like that as well, but it's just that, like, at the end of the day, people are left to do their own decisions, and it's tough, because it's like, you can't convince everyone, and ultimately Mother Nature is going to win a lot of the times, and it's just a strange thing to kind of grapple with. I think that's all I'm going to talk about for now. I think I want to process my thoughts a little bit more, but it was just something I was thinking about and kind of wanted to talk about a little bit as I make my way back up to New Jersey. There was a lot of talk on the last video about the hype casting. A lot of people, kind of got the point that I was trying to make. Some people kind of missed the mark, thought I was downplaying Helene, which I never did. To be completely honest, like, I don't think anywhere in that video I downplayed the threat of Helene. I just want to re-emphasize that my point was that people use kind of deterministic models and stuff like that just to kind of pad their own engagement and stuff sometimes, whether that be intentionally or unintentionally, and I just think that's wrong, and we should leave the channels more open for the official words from people that do have a worthy and educated and experienced point of view on what's going to happen. Anyway, closing thought there, I guess. So like I said, Hurricane Helene video, I guess, will be out in a few days on my experience of it. A couple harrowing moments for me personally, but I just want to say that Helene will be on the forefront of my mind for a very long time, I think. And
crash reported ahead on I-95 north in half a mile.
The GPS interrupting me again.
Route.
And yeah, it's just the impacts of the storm are something that I'm going to be thinking about for a long time, especially now having been in a major hurricane and having been there for it, and kind of understanding just how things can go wrong. So with that said, folks, hope you all stayed safe out there. Definitely not a storm that you wanted to mess with. And I'll talk to you all again soon. See ya.